This right here is Senator John Kennedy at his best. Watch as he hilariously breaks down this massive scandal in front of Pam Bondi, and she can't even believe what she's hearing.
General, welcome. Let's suppose that I'm appointed special counsel at the Department of Justice, and I go to the telecommunication companies, the phone companies. Let's single out AT&T, and I say, look, I know you're busy, but I want to see a copy of the phone records of a sitting United States senator. They're not going to just give them to me, are they?
No, Senator, of course not.
In fact, they're probably going to ask me what planet I just parachuted in from, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
They're going to tell me to come back with a subpoena, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. What do I have to show in that subpoena to get those phone records of a sitting? Did I mention it was a sitting United States senator? I can't remember. What do I have to show to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator?
Yes, Senator, there were actually 8 sitting United States
Yeah, I
senators,
heard that.
and you would have to have cause.
I'm sorry, what do I have to show?
You would have to have cause to get the
Good
subpoena.
cause or probable cause?
Probable cause.
Okay. Probable cause, or if it's a subpoena duces tecum, good cause, to show what?
You would need good cause for a subpoena duces tecum, and what you would have to show is that you believed a crime had been committed, or there was a possibility of a crime, or that could lead to other crimes. We
By the
frequently, in criminal enterprises, subpoena cell
By the
phones.
sitting United States senator?
Senator, they would have to have believed you were part of a criminal conspiracy, is my understanding.
Would a judge have to sign off on it? On the subpoena?
Yes, Senator. Well, for a subpoena duces tecum, Jack Smith probably took it straight to the judge.
Now, the phone companies, particularly their general counsel, if they're worried about civil liability, even with a subpoena to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator. Did I mention it was a sitting United States senator?
Yes, Senator.
The general counsel for that phone company, let's say AT&T, they have the right to seek to quash that subpoena, don't they?
Phone companies frequently do that.
Yeah. And a smart general counsel for that phone company is going to call the sitting United States senator and say, would you like to weigh in on this? Would you like me to quash the subpoena? We're talking about invading someone's privacy here by a sitting United States senator. Could the general counsel for the phone company do that?
Well, Senator, if they believe that a crime could have been committed, they could not tip off the person who committed the crime. Again, I can't comment on details of this particular case.
I'm just asking you theoretically.
I've never seen you commit a crime, Senator Kennedy.
But let's suppose, okay, they didn't want to tip off the sitting United States senator. But the phone company and the general counsel for the phone company, or companies, if there were more than one involved, could say, you know, this is serious as an aneurysm. This is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke. This is a sitting United States senator. So general counsel would likely advise the CEO, well, you need to file a motion to quash. The telephone companies could have contested those subpoenas, could they not?
Hypothetically, yes. I can't talk about the facts of this particular case.
We're talking hypothetical.
Senator, subpoenas are issued all the time through phone companies working with the general counsel.
But they can file a motion to quash.
They could, yes.
Yeah.
In any case.
And if they should have filed a motion to quash, and a reasonable person would have filed a motion to quash, because this is a sitting United States senator, and they didn't file a motion to quash, they would incur civil liability, wouldn't they?
Senator, typically phone companies follow a subpoena from a United
I
States
know they
attorney.
do, but they don't have to.
They could challenge it, Senator.
Yeah. And if they don't challenge it, they better have a damn good reason. Right? Right?
Senator, I can't talk about the facts of this particular
This is just a
case.
hypothetical.
In general, hypothetically, Senator, maybe they didn't recognize any of the names of the 8 sitting United States senators.
I'm sorry, but that's a load of crock. They knew very well what was going to happen with those 8 sitting United States senators. They're claiming that maybe it was part of a grand conspiracy, and maybe these senators were trying to take down America from the inside. I'm sure that's the angle that the Biden administration wants to put forward. But plain and simple, I think we all know what actually happened. Every single one of those 8 people were people who supported Donald Trump, were people who sought out the truth at every turn. They were not going to let the Biden administration get away with whatever the heck they wanted to get away with. They were asking questions. They wanted the American public to know what was going on in this administration. And quite frankly, what happens in the dark always comes to light. This is a perfect example of this because there is absolutely no reason for these 8 sitting U.S. senators to have their phones tapped, to have their private conversations recorded. Like, who the flip did the Biden administration think that they were? That the frickin' Gestapo? They get to do whatever the heck they want, and then the law will just mold around their perversions and their sick, demented minds? The way that I see it, if you don't see a problem with wiretapping somebody's phone just because you dislike their opinion, then you are part of the problem. I don't care if you're the most staunch Democrat. I think that you have a right to privacy. People shouldn't be looking into what you have to say with your grandma just because I dislike some of your political opinions. That's what happened under the Biden admin, and it is not okay whatsoever. Somebody has got to have their feet put to the fire.
Or maybe they should have gone to Amazon and buy some testicles online. Instead of just saying, sure, I'll just show you the phone records of a sitting United States senator on the basis of an administrative subpoena. Now, do you have copies of the subpoena applications for
Yes,
these
Senator,
8
Senator, I can't discuss anything regarding
You
this
can't
case
even
with
tell me if you have copies?
I can't discuss any of this.
All right,
with
when are
I'm
you
sorry.
going to, General, when are you going to be able to discuss it?
I can't discuss whether there is or is not a pending investigation,
I understand,
Senator. This
but
was
let's
just
assume
brought to light
if
by
there is a
Director
pending
Patel.
investigation, I don't want this to get swept under the rug, okay? Because I think you're going to get pushback from all quarters. I think the telecommunication companies are going to be all over you like a bad rash because they've got liability here for just turning over these records when they knew what was going on. I think some FBI agents may have some liability here. I think a special counsel might have some liability here. If I were your special counsel and you had appointed me and I wanted to get the records of a sitting United States senator, is that something you would expect me to tell you as Attorney General of the United States?
They better have.
Yeah.
And
Do we know in this instance of the 8 sitting United States senators if they told Attorney General Garland?
Senator, I just learned about this very recently, as did Director Patel, and we cannot discuss the details. I don't know many of the details.
Well, maybe we ought to get Attorney General Garland here. Do you know if the special counsel told FBI Director Wray? Is that something? Let me put it another way. If I were your special counsel and you were the director of the FBI and I'm trying to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator, did I mention it was a sitting United States senator? Is that something that you would expect me to tell you as director of the FBI?
In general, I would believe the FBI would help execute the subpoenas.
Yeah.
To the businesses.
Okay, I want to switch to another subject in the 12 minutes that I have left, since everybody else got to go over. I've got to ask you about this, General. Secretary Howard Lutnick on October 1 gave an interview to the New York Post about Mr. Epstein. And he described Mr. Epstein as, quote, the greatest blackmailer ever, close quote. Have you reviewed that transcript of that interview?
I have not reviewed the transcript, but I saw the clip of it.
Okay. It appears that Secretary Lutnick was Mr. Epstein's next door neighbor. In fact, their townhomes shared a wall. And the reporter that was talking to Mr. Lutnick, she asked how other prominent men could have been associated with Epstein when Mr. Lutnick could immediately sense that he was a, quote, pervert. And then Secretary Lutnick said, or rather the reporter said, did they see it and ignore it? Do you remember that from the interview?
I do.
And Commerce Secretary Lutnick said, no, they participated. And then Commerce Secretary Lutnick goes on to say, quote, that's what his MO was. You know, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was a video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever, blackmailed people. That's how he had money, end quote. Is that true?
Senator, as our July memo said, we did not uncover evidence. This case has gone through 3 administrations, as well as former U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta.
I know that, Pam, but have you interviewed Secretary Lutnick?
No, Senator.
Do you plan to?
If he wants to talk to the FBI or the FBI wants to talk to him, that is more than on.
Don't you think you ought to talk to him after this interview?
Senator, if Howard Lutnick wants to speak to the FBI and if Director Patel wants to speak to Howard Lutnick, absolutely.
Okay. Maybe we ought to get Mr. Lutnick in here too, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Book.
I understand Pam Bondi's apprehension of bringing in Howard Lutnick because he is the Secretary of Commerce, and what kind of look does that have if the Attorney General is deeply investigating somebody that close in the Trump administration? But I don't think Lutnick said anything that we all don't know already. I think we all understood intrinsically that Jeffrey Epstein was a bad man who was blackmailing other people. That's how he got his power. That's how he got his prominence and wealth. Because what else did he have? There was nothing else going on in his life, yet this man was close to a billionaire. I think what you're doing is getting power and getting leverage over very powerful people and using that against them. I think we all just knew that to be fact. But when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, yes, I want all the documents to be released. I applaud John Kennedy for not letting it just get swept under the rug. Because if we don't hold people accountable, nothing's ever gonna get done. Like, the fact of the matter is, I trust Donald Trump 100%. I trust he knows what he's doing because he doesn't have to be in this position to begin with. He could be living on a beach with a margarita in his hand, feet up, for the rest of his days. But he's instead choosing to go through hell each and every day. So that in itself gives him a lot of leeway and gives him a lot of trust because he doesn't have to be doing this. But when we go back to their senators getting their phones tapped, do you understand how big of a deal that this would be on CNN and MSNBC if it were Donald Trump's administration who were spying on 8 of the most prominent Democratic senators? This would be grounds for impeachment. There would be people wanting his head. Yet because this happened to Republican senators, they want us to just sweep it under the rug and pretend nothing will ever happen, nothing should happen. This is standard procedure. This is an egregious breach of trust, and somebody needs to answer for it. Because if we can allow this to happen, then we live in a banana republic where the office of the presidency can do whatever the heck they want, and we all just have to adapt to it. What happened under Joe Biden's term was so unconstitutional, it's not even funny. And if you ask me, Pam Bondi needs to do something about it fast. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. How would you rate Pam Bondi's time as the Attorney General of the United States? Give me a ranking between 1 and 10. I personally would give her like a 7.5, 8. I kind of wish Matt Gaetz was the Attorney General. I trust him wholeheartedly. Pam Bondi, I'm kind of on and off again. But let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear that. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.